Today on Bet of Truth, we'll be capturing the last chapter of Job. But to give us a bit of context, we'll do some backstory about what happened to Job. So we'll be covering Job 42, 7 to 17. Before Job 42, around Job 38, we see where God responded to Job. You know, all the way from Job first chapter 1, Job had been expressing his anger, his frustration, his suffering to God, pleading for God to have mercy on him and all of that. And in between this story, Job was being, tempted by his friends, even his wife, his loved ones to, rebuke God, curse God, but he still stand firm on his faith to God that he's not going to do such thing. In between all this period, God was silent, and that was very, very concerning for Job. And that's when we capture in some of our lessons during this week about how Job experienced different dimensions of suffering, from social suffering to physical to mental to emotional struggle and also to spiritual struggle, and how he was able to overcome it. So the prologue of Job, which covers the first two chapters, and the epilogue, which covers the last chapter that we are in now, which is from around verse 7 to 17, sets boundaries within which we understand the rest of this book. So the prologue explains why Job suffered, preventing us from attributing his suffering to hidden sin or self-righteousness. That is the first part of Job's story. The epilogue prevents us from believing Job's three friends were right and from condemning Job for things he said. Why Job recognized that much, that he said, I rose from this ignorance, and that he now understood God more than he did before. God was not angry with Job. God did not require him to sacrifice a sin offering for his own forgiveness, and God twice affirmed that what Job said about him was right. That means despite what Job went through, he did not curse God. He did not say anything wrong. He did not do wrong in God's sight. That even at that level of agony and suffering, he did not do wrong in the presence of God. In contrast, God rebuked his friend instead, because his friends, they are supposed to be the people that are supposed to stand with him, all to him, but it's just disappointing that they were the one even pushing him to want to do that which is wrong, even in the state of his distress. Only Job, out of all his friends, have access to the presence of God, which also give him the assurance that God would hear his prayer. Why? Because he alone related to God by faith. His three other friends were locked into legalistic mindsets, where their acceptance by God depends on their own obedience. So they could never, on the basis, gain access to him, which also proves something to show the level of faith that Job had in God. And it's not the kind of faith that is only active when everything is good. That even when things were sour, when things go south, the faith still stand. The faith was still strong. As you go out today, regardless of what comes your way, let nothing take away your faith in God from you, because that's the only thing that can vindicate you. Walk in fear of God, just like what Job did. Regardless of what he went through, he still hold on to God. Even when it does not make any sense to human reasoning, he still hold on to God. So as you go out today, hold on to your faith. Hold on to your God. Hold on to the words of God that you've read, that you've heard. Hold on to the prophecies of God over your life, even when it seems nothing is working around you, and you see how God will turn things around for you. Have a wonderful day.